Now, in order to start the generator function, or start the vehicle like normal, it's a hybrid system. Manual says make sure you're in park. It will work either way, but we're going to do this Toyota safety way. Once it's up and running, the hybrid system can actually cut the engine in and out, and if you have enough charge in the battery, it can run the AC system. When I say the AC 110 here, you're gonna hit that little button, you're gonna see that illuminate. Now, we're low on fuel, and on these trucks, the parking brake is right there. That's to release, that's to engage. Now, you can be in drive, and you can, let me get focus here, you can use the 110 at the same time frame. Now, that being said, let's use common sense. At no point do you want to be going down the road and have a hot plate going, and again, use common sense if you're using the 110 plug, charging some devices, doing some stuff like that, but don't be doing any type of risky activity with a 110 plug while you're in drive going down the road, of course. Use common sense. So while you are using your AC1 function, the engine does not necessarily have to be running, and you may hear kind of a whirling sound coming from somewhere in this general area sitting here. That's perfectly normal for that part. And this is what I'm talking about. So vehicle will turn off in 1 hour. If you're going to use this as an extended generator function, I would definitely do that no there. And I really feel like this is an overlooked, some features. You got 12 volt here, USB here. If you need the fuse for that, it's in here underneath this little compartment. But when you start talking about overlanding, excursions, using this as an adventure pickup, this is a big deal. And do not forget you got the 110 plug right here, but this ain't gonna be the big deal for the high wattage usage that most people are gonna probably use this for. Now you're plugging the bid, and I wish more salespeople would actually point this out because this is a really cool feature. This is 2400 watts. Now that number may or may not mean much to you, but in a general sense, that's actually 20 amps. So your average household plug is either 15 or 20 amp, depending on where you live or what size setup you got there, but that's a 20 amp. So most stuff you can plug into your household plug. Again, check whatever you're plugging into it, make sure that you're not overzealous there. But most average household items, and the thing that, depending on, I guess, just where you live, regulations and stuff, where this could really come in handy is power outages, camping, overland adventures. So think about if you had a little pop-up camper behind you or something, small air conditioning unit, chances are this is going to run your fridge, electronics, and a small AC unit. Or if you lost power, you could run a AC window unit, keep your fridge going, stuff like that. So a lot of times people will buy generators that's small and in the same wattage, and they don't use it for 8-9 months, and it's gummed up and you can't get it to start when you actually need it. Hey, you're going to drive this truck probably majority of the time, so let's get this plugged in. You would want to have this, the AC is already on, the truck is already off. Maybe prop this up a little bit. Alright, and this is a 1500 watt heater. If you can see, that is starting and running, and it's a little warm to have heat going, but that's already starting to produce heat. So again, power outage, something like that, at least you got one plug, you can run some stuff. Of course, if you're using this with high amperage, of course, watch out for drop cords, what your items rated. Do your Google research on what you should or shouldn't run off of 20 amps or 2400 watts. The vehicle is not running, but this is producing a good amount of heat right here. But what will happen is it'll use enough battery. At some point, it'll need to refire that truck up. So the engine will restart, run as needed, recharge the battery up to a point, and then shut off. And then that system works automatically on its own for this 2400 watt function. And if you're a salesperson or you're debating models, that might be something you're really considering. If you're looking at a off-road and a little bit more, you can get the model that's a hybrid. Do you need a generator every now and again? Or are you going on adventures, camping, tailgating? There's a lot of uses that little feature can come in handy. But if you have any questions on that, let me know. And one other quick note, if you're trying to use this as a generator, You notice it will not let me lock the doors. Now what you can do if you need to lock the vehicle is you're going to come in and mechanically hit all 3 of those locks. If you notice, if I hit that one, it automatically unlocks the set. Now again, I went back and manually locked these 3. I'm going to shut this door. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to mechanically lock those doors. So now the key is not in the vehicle. I'm still using the 110 functions here, but I'll have to mechanically, you know, let's just try it out of curiosity. I don't think it'll work if it won't let me do it one way, but let's try it. Yep, will not let me electronically unlock. But that's you're not going to have the alarm system. That's how you can actively run the 110 and physically lock your doors if you're camping, trying to keep bears or something like that out. It's a little bit theft deterrent, but again, you don't have the full alarm system if you were camping using the generator and you mechanically locked your doors there, but that's the way you can lock your vehicle. Any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. I'll answer them if I can. Lastly, when you're done using it, before you cut everything off, you're gonna cut the appliance off, and per Toyota, unplug it. I don't think it's probably that big a deal. And then just kind of reverse procedure. Press your button. If you heard the whirl and stop, and then voila, you're back to go. Welcome to the channel. I have over a decade of experience in the Toyota world, and when questions get technical, I'm typically the go-to person. If I don't know the answer, I'll do my best to figure it out. Automotive industry changes quickly. This channel is for inspiring salespeople, people debating buying, and enthusiasts all alike. This will include walkarounds, how-tos, configurations, specs, along with some common asked questions. So if you have any, drop them in the comments and it could be the next video. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And until the next one, keep the wheels moving and hope you have a good one.